Okay, so basically this is going to be your filter cover. Yeah. You don't have to remove this. I did just to gain a little more room. It's not in the way. If you leave it, it's fine. Disconnect the battery first, negative off the battery, and then start removing this here. So in my case, I removed the cover, I removed the filter, I disconnected the sensor here. These tabs, you pull on them and they'll pop up, and the way they sit down, they click in and they lock. This one here is a little tight. You can use a screwdriver to push, and once you take this one off, you can take that one. They want you to take the battery because of this thing here, so also electrical is plugged, so you don't want to get shocked. Disconnect the mass airflow plug, take this plug out, pull it up, take this tubing off, squeeze right here, take this flexible air tube off, inspect it because sometimes it could be a crack here underneath you don't see, and that's where your air leak is. Or there's another tube underneath that goes here. Check that. But anyways, remove that, remove this, take all these off. There's bolt down there, bolt down here. Take this little bolt right there. This bracket comes off, so you get all this out of your way. Push these clips down, take this out, slide out, and next thing you're gonna need, it's this tool right here. It's pliers for the clamp removal, and basically there's two clamps. There's one on top right there, and there's one on the bottom. The bottom one you don't need to touch. The top one you do. In my case, mine was facing towards the back like this. So when you remove all this, I gain a little room in my hand. I was holding this like that and basically guided onto the clamp, and then held with one hand like that, and then I squeeze the pliers here to close that. And once you squeeze it, it'll stay in place. It won't let go. It'll stay in that position, and just leave it. The clamp is loose, squeeze, it'll stay like that. Then you're gonna take one hand here on this part and one hand back here and wiggle it, because you gotta get these grommets, gotta get it off these. It basically slides in the other way, and you gotta push them off and then wiggle it up. So it has to go up this way, and just make sure you don't break anything. Go slowly, pull, but be careful. Then wiggle it out. Take the thing out. There's 3 bolts, one here, one there, one on the bottom. Remove that, install a new filter, and that's about it. Just reverse everything and you're good. Make sure you're seated in there nicely, and before you start closing everything, because that tube is flexible, and if it's not seated right, it's gonna kind of sit on top of it but not in it. Just make sure that's seated correctly, and then go ahead and proceed with the rest of it. It is a little tight because of everything else that's in the way. I think engineers could have done a better job redesigning this whole thing here, but this is what you need to do in order to remove that mass airflow. And then just reverse everything, put the battery back on. You probably got to clear the codes, or remember your radio codes before you start it. Okay, now this cable sits on here, basically slides like that. You definitely have to remove that off of the housing when you take this box out. To take that off, you can use a screwdriver. It's hard to do with one hand. Flathead, and just push this way and then slide up. It will come off, and then to put it back, just make sure it sits in the housing and it clicks down. That's it. Okay, for that one right there, bolt, and this one right here, you're gonna need E10. You definitely need the skinnier side for this side because it has to sit inside this housing cup. You don't need two E10s unless you get the smaller one to sit here. You can get that one off of there as well. And this tube here, this turns down. To remove, you basically have to squeeze both sides like that and then just pull on it. And to push down, it'll just click. The most important tool that's going to be is this tool right here. It's a clamp removal that goes right there. And this portion of the intake sits on top and that squeezes, so you definitely need that to remove. I am just cleaning a little bit of oil residue on there. Then I'm gonna go back and put everything back together. So once you remove that and remove all these connectors off of it, the tubing right there, you just squeeze these together and just pull on it. It comes right off. And like I said, once you remove that clamp, this slides this way. You have the two plastic pins that sit inside these grommets. You just gotta push it that way and kind of lift up that way and up and kind of just wiggle it until you get it out. Okay, there's 3 screws right there, right here, and one down here. To remove, you need T25, and that would be the original massacre flow. I'm assuming that's what I need, and I'm gonna go with it, replace it, because I have the code. So, and this would be the replacement part. Those order. No check engine. Test drive it and see if it comes back.